Dayton Town Council caucus meeting Saturday, August 15, 2015 will come to order. I'd like to welcome everybody to this work session. Work sessions are designed for members of the council. Can you hear me back there in the back? Okay. Of the council to have discussion on pending matters before the board. Ideas and thoughts are shared in order to make sound decisions on behalf of the townspeople. No vote on pending matters is ever taken at a work session. Many of you attended the August the 3rd, 2015 council meeting. There were many of you who were out of order at that meeting. Several residents did not come to the podium to address the council. Several residents spoke out of turn, and debate among the residents in the audience could be heard. I too was out of order at that meeting. It is my duty as council president to ensure the meetings are in order and the town business is conducted in a smooth and efficient manner. In my attempt to keep order in the town hall, I too was out of order, and I apologize for that. To rectify that situation, I'm going to establish rules of order for anyone wishing to address the council. Residents may only address the council during comments from the residents. Portion of that meeting, anyone wishing to address the council must attend the podium and state their name and address. Once recognized by the chair, they may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Should the speaker leave the podium, they will not be allowed to attend the podium again to speak a second time. No resident will be given the floor and allowed to speak without being recognized by the chair. Should any resident wish to speak longer than 5 minutes or address the council for a second time, a motion must be made and seconded by members of the council, and the motion must carry. Anyone who does not follow the rules of conduct that I have outlined above will be given a warning that they are out of order. Should they be out of order a second time, they will be asked to vacate the building. These rules of order are not intended to silence or deny anyone the opportunity to address the board. Rather, they are established to ensure that each and every resident has an equal opportunity to be heard and that the full attention of the council and audience can be given to the speaker. I thank you for your cooperation and consideration. At this time, I would like to ask if there's any cell phones on, if you turn them down, put them on vibrate or silence. And I just now saw the agenda here. This is the first time that I saw the agenda, and it has the comments from the residents. Normally at a work session or a caucus, there's no comments from the residents. But seeing that there's some involvement, that residents would like to have some comments, I think most of you hear about the golf carts. Is that correct? Show of hands. Would you like for me to, he's got that as first thing. There's some other people that Ron just told me that's going to try to come up to talk about something else. Would you have an objection to me moving the update on the golf carts to the final thing that we talk about? That's in order for you to have an input.
You mean even after the talk about max
there's no comments. Yes, after the comments from the residents would be at the bottom, but I'd like to move the update on the ordinance on the golf cart from the top to the bottom.
I don't think we should make these people wait here all their Saturday while we talk about things that they wouldn't be interested in.
Well, that's why I'm asking. What's the council's decision? Go ahead and have the comments from the residents right after the golf carts?
Yeah, that, and if they want to comment about the weed ordinance, or if any of...
No, what happens then, what happens is what, this right here, the comments from the residents, I have not approved that. And this is the first time that I saw this. I'm trying to accommodate the people from the comments from the residents. Normally you just have one section where you have comments from the residents. If you look at all of our past agendas. So, what I'm trying...
Let it go just like it is. Just follow the order as it is.
Okay, and leave the...
Just leave it as 1, 2, and 3, and let it be. If they're not here, they're not here.
I don't think people don't comment about Maxwell Block stuff, the weed ordinance.
I just don't want to get things out of order. So let's just eliminate comments from the residents from the other two and leave it after the golf carts. Okay. That's what we're going to do. We'll have an update on the ordinance, and we'll have whatever's presented. Then I'll have comments from the residents, and like we'll follow what I outlined there. Okay? Okay. Update on ordinance for golf carts. There was some discussion at the last meeting that the fees on the registration seem to be a little steep. And I don't know whether your Marshall Taylor, whether your thing has any amendments to that here.
Would you like me to present that?
Yes, I think you're the most important one here.
At the last meeting, we saw the first draft, and we presented with the first draft of the ordinance for the golf carts, regulation of golf carts. I went back and compared that to what the suggestions were brought up by the committee at that time. So I compared the two. There were a few things that were left out and a couple of additional wording that I would suggest go into that ordinance. First of all, the ordinance refers to the Indiana Code for a golf cart description and definition. I think the whole definition as it is in Indiana Code needs to be included in the ordinance and not just referred to. That way it's spelled out. Because I know I hate to read something and think, oh, it's Indiana Code, blah, blah, blah. No, I've got to go look up an Indiana Code book and find out what exactly it's spelling out. We should spell it out right up front. We had talked about safety seat belts, and that was included in there, but we did not think how we want to do with children. So I believe that we should mirror the Indiana Code when it comes to child safety restraints if we draw up an ordinance. Speed limits. Obviously, golf carts are designed for slow operation. I think they should have a blanket 20 mile per hour regardless of where they're at in town. Whether they're coming down Dayton Road where it's 30 or 25 or 25 anywhere else, I think 20 is fast enough for a golf cart. That's a suggestion on my own. We discussed not using it on sidewalks, and our attorney brought it to our attention. Well, that's already covered in another section. I would like to see it reiterated in this ordinance that they won't be permitted on a sidewalk. Period. We also discussed in the committee they should have loud exhausts or loud engine or make any other noise loud enough to disrupt the public if they're driving down the streets. We had wording in there that wasn't mentioned. This is common sense, but I still think it needs to be reminded. You have to obey all the traffic laws, just like everybody else. The inference is there. The only other addition I would make to that we really didn't discuss, and I just discovered that some of the communities do this, is a signed liability waiver. And the reason for that would be some extra protection for the town against any liability. You know that you're going to be operating a vehicle that is potentially dangerous and could cause harm, so that would provide an extra layer of protection for the town, and that would just be kept on file with our registration. So that was the only topics that I would like to see inputted and that the committee had brought up in comparing with the ordinance as it was wrote.
I think one of the residents brought up about having a 6-foot flag or something. Is that covered in this?
It's not anywhere. I think it's a good idea. Anything to increase visibility is helpful. But
Okay, so we should probably try to add that too in one of the sections.
Well, we do require, or my understanding is the way the ordinance is written right now, we require a slow-moving vehicle sign.
Yes.
So, with that being said, if somebody feels it's necessary to add a flashing yellow light, or 1 flag, or 2 flags, or 15 flags, certainly they could do that for added protection if they feel that that's necessary. I mean, your slow-moving vehicle signs,
Well,
kind of designed to be uniform throughout the United States and probably elsewhere. And if somebody wants more protection, then they can, they can put reflective taping on the back. They can put, 5 signs back there.
I think the intention of it, of the flag up 6 foot, is most of the golf carts are probably about 2 foot from the ground, probably about 1.5 feet from the ground up the slow moving vehicle sign. And I think the individual that brought it up is, if you're following a pickup truck or something of that nature, if you have something up above the top, where you can see a lot of these, if they're behind a vehicle, if they don't have the canopy on them and stuff like that, you probably couldn't see them unless you had a flag or something up there to let them know.
So you're saying make it visible if a person is 2 vehicles back? I mean, it doesn't really matter because they can't do anything until that vehicle in front of them moves. It'd be no different than following somebody on a riding lawnmower down the street, or
Well, they're not supposed to go on the streets either.
Well, my thing, it would help a lot of these corners in town you don't see around. A small bush will hide a golf cart.
We have ordinance to trim bushes and stuff.
Yeah.
We have
a lot of
That
ordinances.
doesn't always happen.
The big whip flags will
A trash can sitting on the corner will hide a golf cart, but the flag sticking up there would help to be visible.
People hit motorcycle riders for no reason, and a golf cart's no different.
Absolutely, yeah.
The more visibility you
I mean,
put
hopefully that
on,
big
the
orange
better.
triangle helps out. Should we just do the flag only and not the slow-moving
No,
vehicle
I
sign?
think they
I
need
think
both.
both of them.
I think both.
Neither one are expensive. It's
No.
minute if you're gonna buy if you're gonna pay for the thing to have a $3 sign and a $4 flag is not really a big deal.
What do you think, Tyler?
Well, I think the sign is good for visibility, but it should kind of almost be a personal choice if you already have a slow moving thing, it's just kind of an add-on. But it does help with safety, and but I think it's kind of like a personal choice, like which kind of seatbelt you get. It's like, oh, you can get in a golf cart, you're gonna get just a lap strap, or are you gonna say, oh, I want to spend extra and get a shoulder and lap strap, even though it's going 20 miles an hour. I think it's kind of up to the person's preference.
just for informational purposes, I didn't read a flag attachment to any other of the towns that had a written registration ordinance.
And the ones that I have here, all of them have all of them are uniform in the fact they have the SMV sign. But beyond that, and two officers told me, yeah, if they want, a little flashing yellow light, for the one person that crosses the highway quite frequently or whatever, and they can add that stuff if they want it.
And that goes back to the sign liability waiver, so. Take it at your own risk.
Well, and anytime you're on, FYI, anytime you're on a state highway, a federal interstate, you are driving at your own risk. That's why when you slide on that ice or whatever and hit the guardrail, you can't sue the state for not salting that road or sanding it or something like that. Anytime you're on a public driveway, and yeah, well, you are traveling at your own risk.
Since you brought up the safety, I was asked to come up with and study a little bit of the safety concerns by golf carts. And I'll preface this by saying there's not a lot of hard and fast stats out there due to the fact that, especially in Indiana, if you wreck your golf cart, it's considered an ATV, and there's a reporting system in place that the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, tracks. So that gets lumped into an ATV category. So it's hard to find anything. I Googled the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they put out a whole listing of things that cause injuries, and they track this electronically. I don't know how it's reported or where they come up with their facts, but this is a federally government study. And there have been some studies done in past years, but nothing that's done current. What they're estimating is that there's approximately 15,000 golf cart injuries a year. You compare that with other things that we allow on the road, or in some places allow on the road. All ATVs across the nation lumped together is 202,000. Bicycle injuries in comparison, which we allow on roads, and we have bike paths in the center of major metropolises, is over 500,000, 511,000. And if we were suggesting that we mandate you at least have a driver's license. So if you cut off that age bracket of the people who ride bikes, if you do 15 years and older, that's still 285,000 injuries per year that's documented or tracked compared to the 15,000 golf cart. I know, speaking for the police department, and I believe the town council is the same thing, one injury is too much. We don't want to see anybody hurt. I don't want to see anybody hurt. But on the same token, we live in America where we like to enjoy some freedoms, and I'll have to say I like to ride my bike, and is it smart to ride it on 38? Probably not. When I go down State Street in West Lafayette and I see all them bikers, that's the most busy thoroughfare there is. And if I'm in a car, I don't want to see the bikes. But if I'm riding my bike, I don't want anybody telling me I can't if I do it in a safe manner. So I think the injury thing doesn't really outweigh, if a person wants to choose to do that, that's the choices we enjoy here in America. Now, by the same token, there was a comment made by Mr. Stevenson that I kind of disagree with. He said, if I slide off the road and hit a guardrail, I can't sue the state of Indiana. Well, yes, you can. You can sue anybody you want to in this state. And there are plenty of attorneys that make their living doing that. So to think that just because we have a liability waiver in place, we won't get sued, that's not going to take it out. Now, do those suits become fruitful, or do they won? Most of the time, my experience is no, but that doesn't mean that you might not have to lay out some bucks for your attorney to fight that a little bit. So that was what I found out safety-wise, and that's what the information I provided you, and I gave you the stats for the whole study that was done. There's exercise equipment, 466,000. Basketball and softball, there's 225,000 acres. So it's a dangerous road. As far as the police department's concerned, as far as the registration process, you know, we have taken the point when we were, at least the committee did, that we thought that it was in the best interest of town to have an inspection with a decal. That way we know that that person's got their brake lights, tail lights, and all that safety equipment. Now, for comparison, we don't do that in our auto. We go get our plates done, and if I find you on the road with improper equipment, then I can cite you for that. And we could, if we chose, take that route also. It's totally up to the board. The inspection's not going to be any big time spender for the police department. I've got a process down that I think it's going to be very easy. You go online to the police website, you fill out an electronic application that's going to be created by our IT guy. You print it off, you save it, you fill it out, and you email it to me. Once I get it, I realize that you have a golf cart, you won't register. I call you, make arrangements to do the inspection at your house. I come by, and if everything's good, you pay your fee, I give you your decals, and we're good to go. So it's not going to be this long, lengthy, drawn out process. And on that website also would be information on what the law is, the ordinance, what you can have. I wanted to let you, there are two options to do that. We wouldn't have to do registration inspection. You can have the ordinance and say, this is what you're required to have. But either way, police will make it work.
Any questions from the board of Marshall?
In your previous jurisdictions or in other jurisdictions that you looked at, you'd indicate earlier that golf carts really weren't a problem.
I've talked to 3 different entities that had golf carts. 2 were in my jurisdiction, and I believe the other one was Rossville. I talked to their town marshal, and they indicated that there hadn't been an abundance of issues.
As far as the issues that would also include injuries or death or...
No, but that's why I included these stats. Just because I mentioned that, I don't want you to think that they're not injuries. People die, they say there's probably 50 deaths a year attributable to golf carts. You know, there's been fatal accidents in Indiana involving golf carts. Just not the areas that I've looked at. But in comparison with bikes and cars, it's small by comparison. But they are still, can be dangerous. One of the main concerns is head injuries, small kids falling out of cars. Think sharp. The number one accident factor is people making sharp left turns and people falling out onto the pavement. Because especially a child can't reach the waist, can't reach the floorboard, and they can't steady themselves. So people reach up, they grab that bar, which that ends up catapulting them out of the car.
So children ought to be strapped in.
Everybody ought to be strapped in, not any, but
On the golf course, you get guys that doesn't drive very good.
Hit trees, hit bridges.
You got thrown out before, haven't
Tip them over.
and a lot of those statistics don't differentiate between a golf cart on the road and a golf cart on a golf cart. There are a lot of injuries that happen on a golf cart, especially when the mode of operation is I have a beer in one hand and a steering wheel in the other. That's how we golf.
Got hills and hollows and sun traps.
That ain't right, is it, right?
No.
We don't do that.
Any other questions that the board has from the
Thanks for those stats. Now that I know 50,000 people get hurt horseback riding a year, that's...
On your earlier, you indicated that you'd like a sticker on both the front and rear. Wouldn't the same purpose be served just by having one decal on the rear of the vehicle or on the front? You know, I'm thinking the rear because that's where normally Indiana just has one license plate on the rear.
The idea behind that and why Illinois has 2 plates is because if I'm coming at you and I can tell you've got a registered vehicle and I don't have to turn around or rubberneck, it's a safety concern for me, so I can be watching where I'm going and not looking around to see if you have that decal on there. That's the only reason for having it.
Is that it?
Again, I don't care if we have a registration process with that or we just follow like Indiana. I have no preference there. I'm not promoting one or the other.
Sure.
Anything else?
I can go on for an hour or two here, but some of these folks may want to talk.
Well,
I don't have anything else for Marcia.
Would you like me to stay up here in case they direct
yes,
something?
just sit
to me?
right there, and that way you can get up and answer the questions if they have any. Okay, now we'll have comments from the town residents. Would you step to the podium,
Yeah.
please, and state your name and address? You're a new face for me.
Yeah. Shelley Ramirez, 663 Pearson Circle. I was not here for the previous, I don't know if you guys had established on what a registration fee would be. Because I didn't catch that when you guys were going over it, but I did see if you were looking to implement a dollar figure. I can
Well, there was just one put out, is $100 for 2 years, was that correct? And, I personally think that that's a little bit too much, but we can't set up, that, we can't make any decisions on that at this meeting, I don't believe, we can't take any votes, but we can have some input on it.
Okay.
And
It's not set, it's not set yet.
it's not set yet. And I think, personally, I think it needs to be reduced a little bit. I know there's some cost in the stickers. There's $5 on that, so I'm thinking maybe around $25 a year or something. And that's just a number that I'm putting out there, you know. But I know that there are several residents, and they're here now, they approached me after the meeting and said that they thought, or later during the week, and they said that they thought that that was a little bit too much for that, and I have to agree with them. So, we're gonna try to make it where it's not gonna hit you real hard in the pocketbook, and make it agreeable that, you know, we get some funds in there to handle the paperwork and stuff like that. So, does that answer? Thank you for your comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bill.
Hi, I'm Dale Hayes. I live at 760 Walnut Street. Marshall Taylor, I was just wondering, could we include something in there about liability insurance? Cover the vehicle and personal injury, stuff like that. The insurance is available for golf carts. I don't know what it would cost. I personally don't have a golf cart right now, and I don't want to get one if I can't use one. But I think the insurance on them should be something that should be required too.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Other than that, that's probably all I can think of then. Pretty well cover everything as far as safety equipment. I think it sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about anybody else. I'm pretty satisfied with the way it's going. I think the insurance should be something that we should be required to carry on those. They cover ourselves and cover everybody else too, just like I have to on my motorcycle, my car, truck, anything like that. That would be a good thing to have to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In our proposal that we have now, we do have in there that they show
Yes.
proof of financial responsibility.
Yes, that's in there. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt the residents. So right now, this is for the residents, not for the board.
Ron Merkel, 756 Shady Lane. I just have one thing to say about the lights. I think that, you know, in my personal opinion, I think having brake lights and tail lights and headlights and all this stuff is a little ridiculous for a golf cart. Because you're limited to daytime use to begin with. And so all you're looking for is visibility. And you talk about a flag, but I think that just a simple omnidirectional strobe light will take care of all of it. It's very visible. They use them on the airports. It works. And you wouldn't have to have headlights, tail lights. I don't see the need for all that. That's just a suggestion. You guys think about. The other thing I'm a little concerned, I'm going to go off track a little bit. I think that it's very important. The last 10 years I was on the board, there was a nice communication between the residents and the board as we were trying to make decisions. And I think for you to say, we're going to hold all the comments of the residents at the end is unfair to the residents, because you're already going to vote on some things that they may want to talk about, and they'll never get a chance to say their opinion before it's voted on. I think that it's an attempt to quash some of the people maybe that you don't want to hear from, and I think it's ridiculous. You guys are all smart people, and you all have good diplomacy, and I think you just need to use that rather than saying we're not going to let people talk. Because what it's all about is communication and everybody working together for something good for our town. You know, those 6 guys up there, you're all elected, and you're there for us, and we need your help, but we have a say in this town as well. So that's all I'm going to say.
And the question I have is, the other day you mentioned something about customized golf carts not being allowed. What is considered customized? What carts will be allowed? I mean, I have pictures here of carts that people just put big wheels on. Pretty. Is that going to be allowed? Or are you just going to, it's got to be, look like it comes straight off the golf course? There's a little cart here that has, it's a little utility cart. You know, maybe you want to deliver pizza in a golf cart. Is that going to be allowed? I mean, it's the same size. It's built on a golf cart chassis. What is going to differentiate what's allowed and what's not allowed? These pictures, here's one here that's got fancy paint job, big wheels, jacked up a little bit. Is it allowed, or is it not going to be allowed? I mean, how fancy do you want to get? I mean, it's the same thing. If you modify a car and put custom wheels on it, is it allowed on the road, or is it illegal? That's, that's the questions I have. You know, who's going to make that determination whether it's legal or illegal? I mean, that's. I have a golf cart. I don't want to, some people just like to customize things, make them look fancy. Other people just want basic transportation. So, which way are you going to go? I bid on it, didn't get it. One of the golf carts that I used to drive at Purdue. That's one of those utility carts, got a cab on it. Is that going to be allowed or not? If you have a cab on it, you can drive it in the wintertime. So that's the question I have. I don't know whether you can look at these pictures and take a look and see whether or not that's what they're from GG Carts in Monticello, their website. You can look on there and see what they've got available. I mean, they got a jillion, 100 strictly stock carts, and then they'll customize it any way you want. These have headlights, turn signals, all the requirements, so that's what I've got to say about it. Yeah, you want to take a look at these, or?
Yeah, you can hand them out. Thank you.
Dana Marco, 756 Shady Lane. And I want to comment on Scott's report. He's absolutely right, there was accidents. But as he also said, ATVs are clumped in with the golf cart reports, all right? And so, my husband asked, can we buy his father's ATV? And I said, absolutely not. I love my grandchildren and I want to keep them. If he would have said, can we buy my father's golf cart, I would have said, yes, okay? And I think it's really, you know, you have to deviate from the ATVs and the golf carts that we would have on the road, okay? And then, if, to me, it is like, I think that this is something that a lot of the residents want, you know, is determining the safety. In that report that I read on the stats the other night, all these accidents, the majority of them were from boys from the ages of 12 to 19, and the majority of them were on the golf course. And the majority of the accidents from somebody getting their foot broke, is because it's absolutely right. They go to jump out of the golf cart, and the golf cart's still rolling. And then a lot of times on your private courses, they do allow drinking, but that's something that we would not allow on our roads. It's something that, you know, but I think that I would really appreciate for the board to take that into consideration as far as safety on the golf carts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments from the residents? I'd like to address a comment that was made by one of the residents. The rules of order were not intended to silence anything, the opportunity to speak. And these are references that allow me to set these standards by Title 3, Chapter 31.038 of the Dayton Town Code. Title 3, Chapter 31053 of the Dayton Town Code. Title 3, Chapter 31054 of the Dayton Town Code. So these are just not things that the chair made up. These are part of our Dayton Town Code on how the meeting should be conducted. And as I stated earlier, it is my duty to ensure the meetings are in order, and the town business is conducted in a smooth and efficient manner. And I'm trying to do that. Like I said earlier, I've been out of order on the last one. I'm trying to improve myself in conducting these meetings, and I appreciate your comments. I'm not trying to silence anyone.
I see how Ron took it, and I think I understand how John put, we're not trying to stifle anybody in the middle of the meeting to have a comment. I think what we're trying to avoid is somebody blurting out something in the back. We have no idea who it is. If you got something to say, don't sit back here and just flap your gums. Do it in the proper manner. Come up here, state your name and where you live. If you got something to say, we want to know who it is, where the problem is. We don't know if it's just flying out of the back. That's
Can I have a second to rebut that?
I make a motion we let Mr. Merkel speak again.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thanks, guys. Mike's right, but here's the problem, is if you say that all the comments have to be held to the end, I'm gonna sit there and I'm not gonna say a word. So if you could say, like, if you have a comment, raise your hand and you'll allow them to go to the podium, that would be fantastic, but to say that you can't say anything till the end is exactly quashing it. So if you could amend your rules, and I, you know, I was on this board a long time, John, and we had a really nice conversation most of the time with the residents.
Most of the time.
Sometimes people get out of hand. That happens. You're never gonna, even with all these rules that you just put in place, you're never gonna solve that. So, you know, I would hope that you would please put it on a more personal matter rather than, you know, quoting regulations, and we can all do that. We can all quote regulations and say we're gonna do this, but the fact of the matter is you're dealing with people that have thoughts and things to say and concerns, and to say we're not gonna say anything to the end. And if you make me wait till the end, you're gonna vote on something that maybe I had a great concern with, you know? And that's my biggest concern, is that you're not allowing the people to talk on the particular subject before it's voted on. I appreciate the work you're doing, John. I know you're just trying, but I really would like you, you know, think about it and try to put it on a more personal level.
Well, the reason I stated the references to the town code, I thought that you were thinking that I just made this up out of the top of my head.
Well, you did a little bit, but
no, I
you
didn't.
know.
It's all in the town code. You need to read it.
Well, you know,
You had your say.
I'm going to say one more thing,
And
and there we go. There goes the hammer, because the problem is if John Swick don't like what you're saying, John Swick throws the hammer. I think we made the biggest mistake in our life electing that man president, and you guys need to think about getting him out of there. I'm done. It's about people, John, not about you.
Okay. Thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else on the golf cart?
I got no comment, if I can.
Yes, you may.
I talked to our insurance agent, and he said that he saw no problem, that we do need, everybody would have to put their golf cart on a personal auto policy, like their cars and everything. And that should take care of stuff, because they handle other towns. I also talked to the town clerk in Rossville, Pat McElrath, who's a friend of mine, and they've got a town of 1,600 people, and they've had a golf cart ordinance for 6 years. And they have everybody, I think, Scott's right, sign a liability release form. And in the 6 years, they've had no accidents, no injuries, except at the Summer's End Festival when they have 100 golf carts that come in, and they invite them in from all over. They've had 2 knee scrapes in 6 years. They're very comfortable with, and I've got the ordinance, if anybody wants to see it, but they're very comfortable with their ordinance and stuff. They have no seat belts, but they have no kids under 3 riding also. But anyway, the main thing is the liabilities. You know,
And that gospel ordinance, everybody?
yeah. Pretty good thought.
First of all, Rossville is one of the ordinances all of you already have. That was discussed in the committee meeting, and everybody has it, along with the registered form that they use and the liability. Second of all, the insurance has already been put into the ordinance that we were looking at. When I brought up things earlier, that was things that were either not included or in addition to. So I didn't go over the whole entire ordinance again. I believe that everybody had that in review. So there's a lot more in it than what we just talked about today. The lights and the operation after dark, that was just something that some of the communities had, some of them didn't, and we threw it in there. If we're having the amount of lighting that we're going to require on that, headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals, I don't have a big problem one way or another when we allow operation after dark, because we're talking sunset and it's gray, it's a gray area anyway. As far as the police are concerned, that's something for the board to decide if they want to do.
The drinking problem is addressed by Indiana. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're on a lawnmower, tractor, golf cart, vehicle. If you're drinking, you're on a road, Indiana code covers that. You can be arrested for drunk driving, just like anything else. So the alcohol consumption of driving is covered. Nobody's overlooking that or not included. The customizations, that is the biggest concern and issue with any golf cart ordinance. Where do you draw the line? And I've been on all the websites, the committee and the council has seen all those different alterations that are possible. We have to decide at some point, when does a golf cart become a utility vehicle? Okay? And golf cart manufacturers are now in the utility vehicle manufacturing. They want to get into that market. Okay? So you can buy your E-Z-Go golf cart to take hunting and pack your deer out on the field. So is that allowed? Is it not allowed? That's the whole big thing. And I don't want to get in drawing straws and irritate somebody and say, you can't have that, but you can have this. So that's something that I and the council of attorneys are going to have to come up with some kind of wording so they can direct me how they want me to do this, because it's all going to fall on me and my officers on whether it's yes or whether it's no. So that's all.
I want to address a couple things that the Redmond's brought up. Customize, as Stan brought up. The pictures he showed us, I don't see any problem with the way those are customized being on the street. Still on the golf cart chassis, except for the one with the box on the back. You can't turn around and see what's behind you, so you might think about a rear view mirror. If you're going to drive something like that, you should have a rear view mirror on it to see what's behind you. And I think the biggest thing that will take care of it, it doesn't matter how you customize it. It's got to be governed engine size of a golf cart. Because even some of the golf carts on the golf course, somebody's turned the govern up and they will fly pretty quick with the same size engine. So you're going to have to look at the engine size. I don't know what they are, but you're going to have to limit the engine size. Because I've seen guys modify their golf carts, put jet ski engines in them, and they will do just as fast as a Ford. So you're going to have the biggest thing, they can put the big tire